I'm CJ Peterson, and this is author Michael Scott Clifton. And welcome to Book World: The Great Escape. Today is one of our favorite types of weeks for the month. It is a book review day. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. Mr. Mike, how was your week?
It was great. As you know, we had my cover reveal last night
Mm-hmm.
for the Cavern of the Veil Queen, which is the fourth and last book of the Conquest of the Veil series.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very excited. Got a great cover, got a great cover artist, and so thankful that I was able to finally complete the series and write that last book. And I think it's a great book, and I think it really ties up this epic series with a bang. Yeah. And this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Saturday and Sunday, I'll be at the Shreveport GeekCon with, and I'll be sharing a booth with fellow author C.I. Chevron, and that will be at the Shreveport Convention Center
Mm-hmm.
on Saturday and Sunday. And I believe it's from 9 till 7 on Saturday and from 11 till 5 on Sunday. So if you'd like some autographed books, as well as see all the sights and sounds that a Comic Con has, then the Shreveport Geek Con has all of that, including uh, myself and CI Chevron. So hopefully, if you're around the Shreveport area, check it out.
Mm-hmm. But you also have some good news going on. It has something to do with, I don't know, a contest that you're running, maybe?
The giveaway.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the book launch. Well, we had the cover reveal and gave away a couple of free audiobooks of the Treasure Hunt Club and the Janus Witch.
Mm-hmm.
And then on September 6th will be the official book launch of the Cavern of the Veil Queen. And all you have to do to participate and be part of the giveaway for more free audiobooks of the Treasure Hunt Club and the Janus Witch is to go to the link. Correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, and be part of the broadcast that night.
They're not going to be part of the broadcast. They can join in by watching and
Oh,
commenting like they do with this.
okay.
It's
Yes.
going to be me, you, and the other authors that are going to be
Okay.
part of the
Okay.
broadcast.
Okay. Yes. But you are joining in on the broadcast and as an opportunity to get a free audiobook of the Janus Witch or of the Treasure Hunt Club.
Mm-hmm. Now, with that cool news about your actually reaching your goal for YouTube. The cool news is that we're going to be changing our YouTube channel tomorrow.
Right.
So people can still join in on it, but they're going to have to hold off for like one day until we get it changed tomorrow afternoon to your private one.
Thank you to everybody that helped me reach and exceed 100 subscribers for my YouTube channel, which allows us to do that. And for all of you who did that, very much appreciated. Still not too late to to subscribe, particularly after we upgrade to the 100 plus subscriber channel, which I'm really looking forward to. And much thanks, CJ, for helping me with that.
Oh, my pleasure. It's always fun to work on different promotions. And when we can stack them together like this, it just kind of brings a little bit extra to it that allows us to do that.
Right, right, right.
So, your book launch is when?
September the 6th at 6 p.m.
September
That's a
6th, 6
that's a
p.m.
believe that's a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. And what authors are going to be joining you?
Let's see. Well, of course, you and Mike Wigington,
Mhm.
and let's see, and is DC Gomez going to
No,
be? No, okay. Uh, refresh my memory.
Stone Key and Patty
Oh
Wiseman.
yes, Stone Key, yeah, and Patty White. How would forget that? Stone is part of my critique group, so I don't know how I forgot that. And of course, Patty's a longtime friend, great author, and 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 Stone writes fantasy as well. So really looking forward to that, and appreciate those authors participating in the book launch.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Those are always fun. I love doing those. So for me, a lot of you guys know that I've been having some issues with my foot, and we found out that it was actually broken in May and they didn't catch it. So I've been walking around with a broken foot and didn't know it. So that's fun. So I have a in not this weekend, but the next weekend, I'll be at Comic Con. We're running around. I'll be running the floor and having some fun there. They got me a scooter for that, and I have my slippers. I do. I have giant tennis shoe slippers that I'm going to be wearing instead. I learned my lesson from last time, and my ankle swells like super fast now. So I don't even want to chance it. It's just not going to happen. And then got some other really good news. Found out 2 nights ago that Appointed Time, Sands of Time Trilogy, Book 1, my book, is a finalist for the North Texas Book Festival. That's going to be taking place this Saturday in Denton, Texas at the Patterson Appleton Center. And we'll find out if it placed and if so, where. So I'm like super excited about that. So
Congratulations.
thank you. That's my news. So in celebration though of my book launch, which is happening the week after yours on the 13th for Chain Reaction, I currently have Appointed Time as well as Race Against Time and Out of Time. They are all each 99 cents on Kindle. So you can get those like right now and you can enjoy a fun series as school's starting.
I do have The Open Portal, which is the first book in the Conquest of the Veil series at 99 cents. So if you'd like to get the first book at a bargain price at 99 cents, see if you'd like the series, then like I said, The Open Portal, which is the first book in the Conquest of the Veil series, is currently 99 cents on Amazon.
Yep. You just go to michaelscottclifton.com and under his book section, there's actually a page for Conquest of the Veil series. So for mine, you go to my website, which is right below, and you go under books, and Sands of Time Trilogy has their own page as well. So you can check it out there. Now, for the important part, today is book review day. Love it. Sorry, it took me a little bit to get the back end stuff done today. When it's book review day, I have to manually type in the actual addresses for the books. So let's start with yours.
Okay, so the book that I'm reviewing is called The Passage by Justin Cronin. Have you've got the book cover, right? Or
I do.
Okay.
It is right there.
Okay, yep. And The Passage is an apocalyptic series of 3 books. The first book is The Passage. The second book is called The 12. And the third and final book is called The City of Mirrors. The Passage, I believe, was published in 2016. The plot of the book is based upon, of all things, vampire-like creatures. Again, it's an apocalyptic novel. So if you've ever read The Stand by Stephen King,
oh, that one's
you know that a virus is released accidentally from a military research laboratory, and I believe Stephen King calls it Captain Trips. That's the slang name for the virus in The Stand. And anyway, it ends up killing 90% of the population. Okay, leaving just those 10% that have immunity to it. So in The Passage, very similar situation in that you have a military expedition that goes to a South American country in a South American jungle in a very remote location in search of some vampire-like bats that apparently have genetic capabilities of healing and longer life. Okay, don't really tell you how in the world they or explain how the knowledge of how they found out about this. But anyway, the military is interested in that because of the obviously the benefits of soldiers that heal faster, stronger,
Yeah.
and live a lot longer. Okay,
Superhuman.
right.
Yeah.
So the expedition goes off, and it's got scientists, it's got a military escort. Long story short, when they reach where they think these bats are at, they're actually attacked by the bats, and a good number of the expedition is killed, including uh, most of the military leaders. Well, they're rescued, and one of the lead researchers or scientists who was attacked by one of the bats, they thought was was dead, but actually he survived the attack. And so, fast forward to 6 months, a year later. Okay, there's now a super secret military medical facility somewhere in Colorado,
Hmm.
one of those that have deep subterranean levels where they do super secret research on viruses and things such as that.
Yeah.
And so they decide to start doing um, experiments with the bat serum, germ, virus, however you want to call it, with human subjects. And so what they do is they go around to the prisons, federal prisons, and state prisons around the country, people who are on death row who are going to be killed, executed, and give them a chance to be the lab rats, either and and
Do we want superhuman strength criminals? I mean, I'm just saying that just does
yeah.
not sound like a good plan.
Yeah, it seems like, sometimes you need to think these things out a
That's
little bit farther.
kind of like putting a spider farm right next to a nuclear reactor farm. It just,
Well, the logic is the prisoners, what do we got to lose? We're going to be dead, right? We're going to be executed.
what you have
So,
to lose is the society as a whole as these superhuman.
right.
The
Uh,
author sees us going so many different directions
oh
wrong.
yeah.
It's not even funny.
Well, you've got to know that obviously something went horribly wrong. Okay. And now part of the subplot here is a little 10-year-old girl, 8 or 9-year-old girl.
Mhm.
Uh, Her name is Amy. She's one of the main characters. Her name is Amy.
Mhm.
And anyway, Amy is, they decide, the military minds that be decide, these are all adults. We need to try the virus out on a child to see if it affects the child the same way as it does the adults.
Again, things could go
Okay,
really, really badly.
right. And because the child is supposedly an orphan. And one of the other main characters, at least in the first part of the book, is a FBI agent who goes around collecting the death row inmates to sign off to be lab rats, as
Mhm.
well as Amy. But he has a change of heart with Amy because he lost a little girl. His own daughter died at birth or shortly after before her first birthday with a rare disease, and he sort of has a soft spot for her. So, long story short, things, without having to give away all of the plot, things go horribly wrong. Okay. And these inmates that are being experimented on escape. But in the meantime, they have transformed into these vampiric
I knew.
type creatures
I'm telling
that,
you, I saw it coming a mile away. That was just not a good thing. I've seen
and
one too many sci-fi movies know that
right.
that was not gonna end well.
Well, uh, they have superhuman. They're extremely fast, extremely strong. Uh, they really only roam at night, like vampires. Sunlight burns them, and anyway, they escape. And so, what happens, much like in Stephen King's The Stand, as they spread out, they begin, in fact, attacking more people to get their blood. They're not all of them are killed. Some of them become the creatures like them, like the escape, these vampiric creatures. And so then within months, the whole country, and then months after that, the whole world is in a state of chaos and desperation, and uh, they're bombing cities, they're putting up barricades, they're shooting people, they're dropping the nuclear bombs. Anyway, within a few years' time, 90% of the world's population has been killed, and
Mhm.
all that's left is those that 10% that survived, and these vampiric creatures who continue to prey on the survivors. So flash forward 100 years, and you have small groups of survivors who have managed to adapt to form forts and enclaves that are vampire proof.
Mhm.
Okay. And Amy, the girl that was experimented on, she has not turned her. She's key because she has she doesn't age very fast, because remember that was one of the qualities of the serum or the virus. But she doesn't transform into them. Instead, she has capabilities like them, but she doesn't look like them. She doesn't kill people, and they leave her alone.
Mhm.
So um, the
Okay.
next
Way too much more because this is a long book,
okay,
and we don't
so
have so much
so
time.
let me wrap it up. Okay, so the passage, which I'm going to hold it up, I'm going to show it sideways. It is very thick. It is
Mhm.
766 pages as a hardback.
I gotta say,
Okay,
the ADD person in me, I don't know that I
and
can finish it.
and it has basically three parts to it. The first part is where everything's society's breaking down. You know, this vampiric virus is breaking out. It's very fast moving, and it's very exciting and interesting, and I loved it. The
Mhm.
middle part is where things come to a very slow stagger,
Mhm.
and and I had to force myself to keep plodding along. And then the last third of the book, it's like, and what remember we talked about earlier, it's like uh, an Indy car race or a Formula, you know, one of those, um,
Formula One?
yeah, just it's like a race, a NASCAR race. And so the first part of the race, it's going, you know, everyone's going as fast as they can, the cars, and then the middle, they slow down, they go grandma speed,
Mhm.
and you're just going slowly. Then you speed up again, the last third, and it finishes with a bang. So I
So,
would give it.
I was gonna say, overall, what would you give it?
So I would say I would give it a 3.5 to 4 star rating out of 5. And I would have given it a 5 star rating, a solid 5 star rating, except the middle part of the book does slow down quite a bit. If you get through the first third of the book and you can manage to find your way through the middle part of the book and get to the last third of the book,
Mhm.
I think a person will really enjoy it. So if you like apocalyptic tales, I would compare this to The Walking Dead, uh, 100 years later.
Okay.
Okay, and what society looks like. So 3.5 to 4 stars.
Awesome. Well, my book is strangely coincidentally, as we found out before, because we don't tell each other what well, we do, we don't. We don't always know what the book is about, but he knew that my book is going to be Creatists They Exist by Carmen D'Souza. And strangely enough, it kind of has to do with vampires. And only they're not really vampires. They're where the vampire origin story came from. It's kind of like you have a myth, but where did it start? And notice my book is not all that thick. So it's fast paced. I love Carmen's style of writing. She's quick, she's really good, and she asks a lot of like the what if questions, which I totally love. So in this, like I said, it has to do with the fact that there's this race called Creatus, and they're where the vampire origin story started. They are not vampires, but they like their food completely raw. I mean, like no cooking whatsoever. They've got like speed, they've got strength, they've got some supernatural abilities going on, length of life, that sort of thing. Well, there's this guy Derek, and he's a creatus, and there was this one little girl named Christine, and her mother were attacked, and her mother was killed, and he rescued her. So he's been like watching over her throughout her whole life. And of course, he doesn't age that much. So sooner or later, eventually, they're going to be about the same age as far as their looks. And she's always called him the Dark Angel. And come to find out that he's this creatus, and she reaches a certain age, and he wants to get to know her because he's fallen in love with her, watching her grow up and stuff, which is kind of a little creepy, but that's okay. And so he has to introduce her to his family, which is like super strong. And oddly enough, they all work at this medical clinic. So, they can work at any hours or anything. It's really cool. And it's kind of a strange what if. And she has like a whole series of them. This is just book one. It's kind of like the prequel. And so Creatus, They Exist is a really good one. I would honestly give it about a 4.5 to 5. So it was that memorable for me. And I've actually read 4 of them. There's a couple more I still need to read in it. So if you like that little bit of a twist of, where's this origin story come from, you got to check out the Creatus. They're really cool, and it's really neat.
What's the page count?
In this one, it is. Come on. There's no page number. Seriously? There's no page numbers in her book. I can find out in just a split second. That's kind of weird. I don't understand. I've never seen a book not have page numbers. Page count is 404 pages. So it's a pretty good size, but it's not 700 pages.
776.
776. That's just, my brain would not be able to work there. And there was no lull in these either. So when Carmen writes, I don't know if you've read one of my books where there's not a lot of downtime. My ADD kicks in, and it has to be like action, kind of continuously ratcheting it up with each storybook afterwards. And that's what she does too. So she does really good at keeping the pace and keeping it up and making sure to answer all questions. So if you like that type of story, like I said, Creatus, this is like the old cover. Creatus, They Exist. The new cover, she has it in audiobook as well. The new cover looks like that. And so you can enjoy that book, and you can find it in the link that's in the comments or the one that's currently in this video below. So you can enjoy that. And then Mike's book choice was again The Passage by Justin Cronin. And the link for that book is also in the chat as well as below. So, Mike, why do we do book reviews?
Well, I think it builds interest in books similar to sometimes to what we write.
Mm-hmm.
And if we read and review books that we like, then hopefully if the people listening enjoy what we're saying or like what we're saying, and they know that we've written books similar to that, fantasy, for example, then they would give our books a look. And plus, we often do independent authors like ourselves, indie authors like ourselves. And that's a great way to get a shout out for indie authors who are like us, lead a little bit of exposure, for the books they write. And I think that's a great thing, because I think there's a lot of good indie authors out there and a lot of good indie books as well.
There are, and I've read a lot of them. I'm a blogger for Lone Star Literary Life, and one of those requirements is reviewing books. And I've read some really good ones. Some of them I shared with you guys. Some of them are on my blog, Shelf Life blog, and I know that Morgan says that they both look really good. I know that Mike actually has a book blog tour coming up in September. Do you know the dates?
I think it's September 7th is when it starts.
September
And
7th.
generally, generally they run 6 days, I believe.
Okay. And that's going to be for Cavern of the Veil Queen, which is launching on September 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I will be doing some cool stuff with Chain Reaction that'll be launching on September 13th. I will not have a cover reveal, but I will be having a huge book launch with lots of cool authors who will be there. We'll talk more when we get closer. But in the meantime, there's lots of books to check out there in the world. We've done multiple ones here on the show itself. But today was A Passage by Justin Cronin and Creatus They Exist by Carmen de Souza. And you can enjoy those. Obviously, there's, like I said, Carmen's is an audiobook as well as Kindle, as well as regular paperback, whatever your choice is. In the meantime, next week there will be no Book World. I know everybody's crying, but I have the Comic Conroe, so we won't be here to do it. And then on the 31st, though, I don't know if you guys remember back in May, we had author Stone Key coming in.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be back in this time. Last time we talked about Amazon ads. This time he's going to be talking about his particular genre, which is fantasy. So we're super excited about that. And then September 7th, you have to look forward to Danielle McDonough talking about dystopian fiction. So there's lots of cool things coming up. But next week, we will not have Book World, The Great Escape. So stay tuned for the 31st with author Stone Key. In the meantime, make sure to find some books out there to read and stay out of this heat, especially Texans, because it looks like we're going to be missing the cold front.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah. So enjoy and have a great rest of the week, y'all.